Welcome, everyone, to episode 88 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today, I welcomed a Youngstown, Ohio artist. His name is S.R. Will. I've been connected with him for about a year now. He's a Christian hip-hop artist and gospel artist. We had a pretty good discussion today. He talked about how he's been kind of locked in for the last 2 years, just working on perfecting his craft. He also makes beats. And we talked about the I guess it's kind of a struggle of balancing, doing both. Right now, he's more primarily focused on being an artist and getting his whole message out there and everything, which I think is awesome. We talked about his live shows he's been doing in the local area, and he brought up a really good point about trying to spread his message through going to different environments, which he'll touch on more in the show. I thought it was a really cool perspective. And then we talked about kind of just balancing the whole independent artist thing and really just trying to devise a plan, which I think he's doing very well. I think he has, a very good path ahead of him just from what he's been doing so far, and he's slowly gaining traction. And we really just talked about, the whole thing about appreciating the journey, because it's a very long journey for all of us in our own ways, and we all just got to get through it each day and keep going and trying new things. So I hope you guys enjoy this one, and let's get into it right now. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 88 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today, I have a really dope hip-hop artist, gospel artist, right out here in Ohio. S.R. Will, Stormwriter Will is here. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here, definitely.
I know we've been talking back and forth for a while now. I feel like it's been almost a year that we've been talking back and forth, because I know you live not that far away from me and everything, and I've been following, how you've been doing, like, putting out music and doing shows and everything, and I'm glad to get you on here and get to know a little bit more about you and everything. So basically, just to start it off, we have the guests give a bit of background information, how you got into music, how long you've been doing it, really just the essential information for those that don't know you.
All right, well, my name is S.R. Will. The Sir Will is the easier way some people have been saying it. I'm a Christian hip-hop artist out of Youngstown, Ohio. I've probably been professionally doing this for about 2 years now. I've always been into music since I was probably about 15. My dad's a minister of music. I've been making beats since I was about 15. And I've just been dabbling with it. And it wasn't until I moved to Ohio and really came closer within my faith, and at the same time got introduced to Christian hip-hop that I kind of took a pursuit into this genre. So, but yeah, man, like I said, I've been doing it for about 2 years now, man. It's been an exciting time, and I can't wait for the future. So.
Now, as far as like the Christian background and everything, were you in like choirs growing up, like in church? Like, did you play for the choir at all, or were you involved in that?
I played the background, man. I did the soundboard. I was the cameraman. Not a lot of people liked it because I was always like tinkering with the features and stuff. But I like to experiment, and the sound director was he introduced me into Fruity Loops back in the day, and that grew my interest into making beats and stuff like that, which I learned that I was doing it all the wrong ways. Yeah, that was an interesting time for me. But yeah, I never sung in choir or anything like that until I moved to Ohio. But I've always sung. It's always been like a thing with me. Like I said, my dad's a minister of music, so music is always, has always been there.
Yeah. So since you do both, then you rap and you make beats and everything, has there ever been a preference? Like, which one do you enjoy more, or you kind of just enjoy it all? And like per day, you're like, today I'm gonna make some beats, or today I'm gonna write some songs. Like, does it not really matter?
Man. Oh, so I love making beats, but as I focused on writing, it's harder to do both, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, I'm a family man. I got 4 kids, so it's harder to focus on both. So probably the tail end of this year, I have spent more time writing and outsourcing my beats. I still make a few beats here and there, than doing both because I just don't have the time. Mm-hmm. I love writing. I was a literature major when I went to college, so I love writing. I love wordplay. I love being able to get my thoughts out that way. I think it's way more expressive. Beats are cool and experimental, but a lot of people remember you for the words you say, and so I think I lean more towards my lyrics.
Yeah. So for writing, then, are you more like pen and pad, writing things down traditionally? Are you in the phone writing down the words, or do you freestyle? Like, how does that go for you then?
Oh man, it's been a process. So yeah, I started out pen and pad, and I still do that from time to time, but it's definitely on the phone a lot more. Mm-hmm. So where I work at, I'm isolated. I'm by myself a lot. So what I do is usually, if I have like something cool that's tinkering in my head, man, Google got this awesome recorder, man. I'll just record, and I'll either mumble it out, scat, something that's a cool idea, and then when I come home, I write it out on my Google Docs because I can pull that from anywhere. Mm-hmm. My phone, I can my laptop, and I can always mess with my Google Docs and tinker with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know a lot of people utilize the voice memos thing because it's just like you get the idea done really quick and then you can come back to it.
Oh, it keeps it because it's gone and within seconds, man. Like I somebody put it best. What was it? Pharrell said that no idea is like original. Like it travels. It goes from person to person, mm-hmm. and like when we have it, we have to take hold of it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it'll drift away. So, you know what I mean? When I have an idea, like I try to jot it down in some form or fashion so that I can come back to it. Yeah. Definitely.
The worst thing is when you have an idea like that and then you lose it and then you try and think of what it was and then it's just gone. Yeah.
It's not as cool anymore. Yeah. Or many times, you get like halfway through a session and you don't save.
Oh, that's the worst.
And like you come back and like all that energy is just not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had even like sessions where I did save and then I'll do something really cool and then I didn't save when I did the cool thing and then it crashed or something and I'm like, are you serious?
Oh,
like, how? But yeah. I just chalk that up as like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know what I mean? And if it's not, then it's not. So that's kind of all you gotta do with that one.
That's you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold.
Exactly. So I know you have a lot of songs out already, like on streaming and everything. Out of all those songs, do you have like a favorite, like something that when you're writing it, you kind of really enjoyed writing, or maybe the story behind the song is really important to you?
Like, do I have a favorite song currently that's released?
Yeah,
is what you
basically.
Yeah. I think my favorite song is my first one, Shine, and Centerpiece is probably a close second. Both of those mean a lot to me. One, I think it's just a process. Shine was a beat that I made 2 years prior, and it was when I was really like getting in a groove with my piano, and it was my bachelor party. It's my bachelor party. My brother came up, who I didn't think was going to be here. My other brother was here. My brother-in-law was here. I had my best friend, and we were just vibing out, freestyling to beats and stuff like that. And my brother-in-law, he makes beats as well, and we were just going back and forth. And I had this one beat, and I was like, I have like the beginning of the hook, but I was like, I could never like figure it out. This was during the time like I was still learning how to write to my own beats. Like when I make beats, I just like make whatever sounds cool. But like writing to like stylistically how I write, um, and it was just a combination of my brothers, everyone just having fun and just making something that sounded funny. You know, when we came up with it, and ended up being like a lot of people's favorite song. And you know, saying hello to everyone once you get to heaven, just like hello, hello, hello. But a lot of people remember that it clicks in people's head. They know it. So it's probably my favorite. It's my favorite song because it brings back. You know, it wasn't like a traditional bachelor party. It was just like it's just everyone just coming together and just having a good time and being blessed by it. So it was. I love it. That's my favorite.
It's cool because it's like it's a family affair. You know what I mean? Like everybody was a part of the song in their own way. So
yeah,
I see why that would be like a crazy memory for you. So I know you've been doing a lot of live shows and live events again recently. What's that been like to be able to go and do that again? Obviously, with pandemics, kind of things are opening back up a little bit here and there, and live shows are coming back. Everything's kind of different, but how's that going for you?
It's still a learning process. So before the pandemic, I had only performed at like fairs and churches mainly, and I made it a push this year. I wanted to get more into, I don't want to say secular, but just more mainstream venues, like more bars, more places that aren't typically Christian oriented, or because like in my opinion, when I'm speaking, I don't want to just preach to the choir in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to express my faith wherever I go. And in a lot of places like bars and West Side Bowling here in Youngstown and areas like that, like people feel more welcoming there. You know what I mean? Someone may be on the fence about something or whatever. It's harder for them to go to a church, because churches have rules, regulations, traditions, culture. You know what I mean? And they may not fit that mold. And feel like a pushback or some type of judgment by somebody. Which that's a whole nother story that I don't agree with, but but at a bar, what I'm saying, they feel at home, you know what I mean, and I'm still able to speak to them that way. I went to I got to play got to do a 3-hour set. Man, that's different. I got to do a 3-hour set at this place down here in Columbiana, and like I had to fill it up. I did some of my music, but then I did like some gospel songs, and like that had the greatest reaction. It was amazing. You know what I mean? Because I think at the end of the day, everyone has a moral compass, and people do gravitate to well-being, and I think that it was an amazing feeling to see how well people reacted to that. So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited, and I'm still learning, like I said, to getting to a lot of more of these venues and stuff like that, and see what the future holds.
Yeah.
And that,
I think the best part is too, since you said you're only a couple years into like pretty much doing the whole thing, it's like the more songs you have put out and everything, and the more you go, you'll have even more to perform for people. So it's like you can only, that mission and that message is only going to grow anyway. So I think it's going to get better from here for sure. So obviously, just listening to a lot of your songs before and the beats and everything, I can tell you draw a lot of influences from like boom bap and jazz and gospel and everything. So I'm interested, like when you were growing up, who were some of your favorite artists to listen to? Maybe even nowadays, like who were you listening to that you kind of are inspired by to create what you do?
It's a good question. I grew up with mostly gospel music growing up. Like, I'm talking like old gospel music, like Mahalia Jackson, John P. Key, James Cleveland, um, Kirk Franklin, which Kirk Franklin is still a big gospel artist now. Kirk Franklin, this other guy named Danny Chambers, which were like, which was like a transition. They were like gospel, but they were like kind of like trying to break the mold of what gospel music was. I didn't get into rap until I was probably like 12 or 13, I think. My brother came back from Job Corps, and he was like, "Man, you gotta listen to this," and it was like a Master P album, and it was way different. Like my understanding of rap was like rap breaks from like a Kirk Franklin song, or like DC Talk, which is now like Toby Mac and the lead singer from that one gospel group. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, that like DC Talk, that was like, Run DMC version of, gospel or Christian music. So it wasn't good in my opinion. It was like Beastie Boys meets gospel music. But I listened to a lot of gospel, a lot of 90s R&B, he's not good now, but R. Kelly was inspiration back in the day. You know what I mean? R. Kelly, Music Soul Child, a lot of neo soul, Anthony Hamilton, stuff like that. And then I moved down to Georgia around that time, and I grew into a lot of like Ludacris and a lot of Dirty South rapping, Pimp C. I love the kicks, and I love punchlines. I think they are the corniest things on the face of the planet, but they are amazing. So I love when people can have fun with music and just joke. You know what I mean? Like it's not always about being, the rap god. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's about, just having fun with it. You know what I mean? And having someone laugh. So so I definitely take a lot of inspiration from a little bit, like I said, my foundation has always been gospel music, 90s R&B. I love, SWV and R. Kelly, Music Soul Child, stuff like that. And leaning into the 2000s, I grew heavy into hip hop, but it's like Dirty South hip hop, so like Big Boy, Outkast, Ludacris, stuff like that. Yeah.
Was there ever anyone that was like a dream collaboration, or maybe still today, that if you could work with them, you would definitely do it?
If I could work with them, definitely. What do you mean? Big Crit, who I currently listen to, I would love to work with Big Crit. Toby Nwigwe, he's another huge up and coming hip hop artist who's, his message definitely bleeds Christian hip hop, but like his lyricism, like you would never know. You know what I'm saying? Like just how he's able to split that mold that you would never know. But yeah, Big Crit definitely, and Ludacris. Ludacris has done a Christian song, so we can make that work. We can definitely make that work.
It's funny because Crit also makes beats too, so that's kind of weird because he raps and produces as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, but
his last album though, he ventured out. He ventured out, and I remember listening to an interview about him about breaking out of his comfort zone a lot. I think he still said he made about 50% of the album, but he was like trying to do something different. And I could tell in the music, it definitely sounds a little different, but I still love his flow, that Pimp C style, you know what I mean? The Houston feeling. I still love that flow to death, but yeah, that is. I mean, making beats and writing is a gift. I commend anyone that can do it fluently.
Yeah.
for me personally, I gotta pick and choose. Sometimes I gotta pick and choose. Sometimes
It's just hard to
you know.
balance both. You know what I mean? Like even if you are good at both, it's like if you really want to be really good at one, you kind of just gotta pick one and stick with it at least for a bit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. I do encourage like cross training yourself, being able to, especially as an independent artist. Like I had to learn how to do some form of production, for the music videos that I do have out. I had to learn how, a little bit of camera work, my music production, writing, recording, mixing, a lot of that stuff. I can get myself to a point, and some stuff I released is completely produced and mixed by me. Some stuff I've had to, just get a little bit of help because, I have to know what my limits are, and try not to make sure that I don't put myself in a position to make the song worse. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have a level mind about this. Centerpiece, for instance, I had I hired a guy to do horns. I hired a choir. My dad was on the keys. I produced the rest of the beat, wrote it, and I ended up with like 47 separate tracks. And I was like, I don't know where to start with mixing. just to make it all sound like it meshed well.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to outsource this just to and learn from it. Not just outsource it, but learn from it. So yeah, it's a process, man.
Yeah, no doubt. So do you work with like a lot of people within Youngstown or within Ohio as well? Like, are you working mostly local, or you're kind of just it doesn't matter? Like, if you find someone online, you just work with them, send them an email or whatever.
So my dad's here in Youngstown now. Shout out. My dad's here in Youngstown now. Through doing the venues, I've met a lot of people, a lot of different other artists. There's a big Youngstown rock group called the Vindies. I'm friends with the bass guitarist, and so we've talked back and forth, and we've talked about collaborating with some stuff. I've also became friends with another big group called New Society, who is like the embodiment of 1991 to 1998 R&B. Like that's their style, and we've talked back and forth about music theory and collaborated here and there. We haven't had anything released yet, but I definitely encourage local collaborations. I think that a rising tide raises all ships, and so I grow into trying to learn as many people as I can, so that I can continue to collaborate locally, or people that are on my same field. You know what I'm saying? They're on my same plane that we can both elevate each other. Before that, yes, the horn guy, I met through Fiverr, but we've bantered back and forth on Instagram, so we're closer now. I have a bass player on a new song that I'm working on called Bright Side. He's from Texas, and I met through another friend that's a Christian hip hop artist. So I have that collaboration there. But if I can find someone locally that I can like physically talk to, love being able to physically mesh with people. I think you cipher a lot better that way. I'm definitely all for it.
Yeah. I was going to say that kind of goes back to like the transfer of energy, because I feel like you can get a lot done through like emails and things like that, but there is something more about the face-to-face interaction that is just better, because you can actually feel what the other person's trying to do with the song or whatever you're working on. And I think there's just more of a sense of community with that as well. So I totally agree with because I'm the same way. I feel like if I have someone in the room, I can better even describe what I'm trying to describe to them instead of like hitting them with a DM and saying this, this, and this, and they're like, "What are you even talking about?" You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
that's happened quite a few times. Full. I rather a lot of times I'll send people audio
oh yeah,
because
the
it's
messages,
easier.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easier. There was a guy I sent my song off to one of my buddies from New Society, and he was trying to explain to me how, like, he said that the song sounds great, but there's something with the hook, and I was like, I have no idea what you're saying. I said, can you explain it to me? Like, can you talk it to me? And yeah, it's easier, like, just hearing someone's voice than read through text and like decipher through things. It's just, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Saves a lot of headache for sure.
Yeah.
100%. So 2022 is pretty much here at this point. So what do you think you're looking to accomplish most in the new year?
Man, more collaborations, definitely. More song releases, an actual album release this year. Actually, what I've learned over the past year is that I can't rush things. Things just have to take time. The following year, 2019, 2020, man. Whew. 2020. 2020, at the tail end, I had all these songs that I sung at churches and stuff, and I was like, I just need to release them. And I just kind of like had it set up where they were just releasing week after week after week after week. Then 2020 came, and I didn't have as many songs to release, and I felt like I was always trying to catch up. You know what I mean? Like, if I release a song, then I'm like forcing myself to spat out something. And if history has shown anything, a rushed album is a trash album. So I've just learned to take my time. I got a reserve now. You know what I mean? So I can release some music more strategically, while also taking my time to really flush out, some new music that I'm working on. But yeah, I got an album coming out, hopefully at the end of January. All it needs is the album cover. and I also have an EP that I'm working on called Rooted. So I'm hoping that people can gravitate to that. It's a little different. A lot more live music. A lot more live, and I got a few more trap songs coming out, for the people that are into that. Yeah, and I got a few more collaborations. There's a buddy of mine that lives out of Canton, Escapade. We got a song together called Way Up, and I got another buddy out of Atlanta who we're both originally from DC, so we kind of wrote a song that was in the spirit of that. So it's I got a few tricks coming out next year. You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to all that for sure. I need a T-shirt that says "A rushed album is a trash album." I think I need that shirt now.
Hey, merch coming soon.
That might have to be it. Like, you put your logo down here and then just have that here on the back. Like, I'd buy it.
Rush album is a trash album.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. That's another thing, man. That's been a learning process too with merchandise and stuff like that. I have a website, but that's a whole nother learning venue. I mean, a whole nother journey.
Yep.
Learning how to do that correctly. We invested in Cricut, and invested in all this stuff to get that up and running. But again, a Rush project was a trash project.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it goes for
so
anything, not even just an album.
yeah, it goes for anything. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, we, we're taking our time, but we're having it, flushed out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. I'm excited.
No doubt. So, with all this new music coming out and everything, a lot of people will be listening to it. You'll probably get a lot more fans. What do you think you want people to walk away with at the end of the day? Kind of like your lasting impact. When someone hears one of the songs or maybe the whole album, what do you think you want them to leave with?
My main message is that it's going to be okay. As the SR stands for Storm Rider. I believe that we're all in. I think that life is just a perpetual storm. You know what I'm saying? We go through highs and lows, and my Creator, my God, my Savior, has always taught me that there's a blessing through the storm. You know what I mean? So we just got to be able to push through it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be all right. We just got to push through it. And get to our blessing on the other side. Mm-hmm. So just what I want people to understand is that it's going to be all right. I mean, yeah, we go through highs, we go through lows, but at the end of the day, it's going to be all right. Mm-hmm. We're going to make it through.
Yep. So last few questions here. These are questions I ask to every guest before we wrap up here. So if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
Man, piece of advice. Not to rush anything.
Give him that T-shirt.
Yeah, man. I know. It's gonna be up there somewhere. But definitely, yeah. Just not to rush. Sometimes we jump the gun on things. In life. We don't. We like to sacrifice what we want. There's a guy that says this, but we like to sacrifice what we want to get what we want right now. And I think that sums up everything. Like, there have been many times that I've gone through rough patches, and like you saw the quick exit, but not really seeing the fruit that was growing because of the rough patch. You know what I'm saying? So, if I would tell myself 10 years ago, I just tell them to slow down. You know what I mean? Just slow down, not to rush. You know what I mean? Just take your time, man, because you're still gonna be here. Everything's still gonna be here. just take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, then, where do you think you envision yourself in your life and your career?
Definitely, in my career, I pray that if I'm still doing this in 10 years, that I have, at least touched somebody. If you help someone, you help everyone. So, I mean, if I can, as long as that part is fulfilled, everything else is a plus to me. I mean, what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really get into this for money or anything like that, though the stability does help. And it comes with the territory. As I continue to grow, as long as I continue on this, on the path that I'm on right now, it seems like an upward path so far in the past 2 years. So I'd be grateful for, continuing to grow my fan base and continue to share my message with people. So, but yeah, hopefully, I can take it full time by 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. I'll be a full-time artist and be able to do a lot more live shows. I just did a live show a week ago, and that was insane. Having people be able to play your music live, it's on another level. But yeah, that's that's where I hope to be, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, happy, favored, and blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Oh, yeah, Rushed album is a trash album.
Precisely.
But, man, yeah, trademark. But nah, man, I would just tell everyone, man, just, 2022, 2022 is right around the corner. It's been a crazy 2 years. I would tell y'all to just, be still, and, just know that, things are going to work out. News, whatever, people are going to go crazy about all types of stuff, man. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right, you know what I mean? And I hope that through this, you know what I mean, y'all be interested to hear out some of my music and, hopefully, grab something from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, man, I'm grateful.
Yes, sir. Well, my friend, that's all I have for you today, man. I appreciate you joining me. Like I said, again, thank you for all the support. I'm going to keep supporting what you're doing, man. Keep going, keep putting out songs, doing live shows. I love the message. I love everything you're doing, man, so keep it up.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it, man. I love what you're doing. Like, when I found out, like, I saw, like, you popped up on my YouTube, I think, for a minute, and I was like, man, I said, this is pretty cool. And then, like, you popped up on my Instagram, and I saw Alliance, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's right around the corner, man.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. You keep doing your thing, man. Matter of fact, I just mentioned you and something, but I really appreciate your determination, man. You don't sway away. You just keep going and keep trucking, man. And I appreciate that from you.
Yeah. Well, that means a lot, and like I said, I think we both got that because we're just going to keep going and keep seeing where it goes, you know what I mean? Just trying stuff and doing what we do. So, eventually we got to do this in person for sure because you're literally like that drive. I just made that drive in October to Youngstown, so I can make it again, no doubt. But
I was just in Alliance.
See?
Just in Alliance.
It's destined. Eventually it's destined to happen, man, but we'll get it going eventually. But I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Well, God bless.
Yes, sir. Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 88. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.